Hello and welcome to the seventh episode of Charity Cup Chats. This week I've got two guests with me. First of all, we've got Dan Thomas, who's played in the charity match for a few years, missed a penalty last year. How are you, Dan?
Cheers for that, Riley. Thank you for reminding me. Please you didn't mention the red card. I'll
Oh,
blame
yeah.
my cover now.
Yeah. And of course, we've got Mark Bentley with us, who's with Southend for our double promotion and is now manager at Canvey. How are you, Mark?
Yeah, good, thanks. Yeah, just sort of trying to get over lockdown. Hopefully things will start easing up, but getting through it.
Good. So before we start, like we do all the time, just to remind everyone, this is for Justin Edinburgh Foundation and Havens Hospice. So if you can donate, please do. The link's in the description. We're at £850 now. It'd be great to get to 1,000. So Mark, starting off, how's lockdown for you?
Initially, obviously quite tough, as it is with everyone. Got a couple of young kids, and so just trying to homeschool them, which is difficult. One 14 and the other one 11. So getting through that. But yeah, well, as soon as you got them in a routine, it's fine. But now we're 12, 13 weeks in, want to try and get back to normality. It's starting to ease up a little bit. So yeah, it's been quite good. Yeah,
definitely. And how's it impacted? Obviously, we'll talk more about it in depth later. But has it impacted you, like your preparations? Obviously, you're a gaffer now.
Yeah, it's difficult. Obviously, our season become null and void as soon as we went into lockdown. Really, they made that decision quite quick. Didn't really impact the club. We were sort of 10th in the league, so it wasn't as if we were like pushing for playoffs at the time. So we sort of got over that one quite quickly. But then you're just waiting. You're sitting and waiting, and obviously in terms of preparation, it's just a waiting game now to obviously try and get deals done. You can speak to players, but like I say, I can't give them a lot of information because we don't actually know a start date. I'm hearing all sorts of rumours at the moment. Could be late October. Some people are saying January. So yeah, I just don't know. We're all in a little bit up in the air at the moment.
Yeah, have you had any communication with the FA, or do you literally hear the same as when obviously me and Dan hear in the news?
Yeah, literally that. I spoke to my club secretary on Monday just to see if any updates and stuff, and yeah, he hasn't heard anything. I think there's a meeting with Step 5 and 6, which are a league and 2 leagues below us, and but that might be a little bit more easy to manage because obviously budgets are smaller, attendances are smaller as well. But for us, the only thing I've been told is that the season definitely won't start if it's behind closed doors because the clubs at our level need the income, obviously, with the attendances and stuff. And obviously, we rely on that like all the other sides as well.
Yeah, definitely. So I'm going to take you back to your youth career. Was Aveley the first club you joined?
So I did my apprenticeship at Enfield Football Club, actually. So that's my sort of pathway into adult football. At the end of those couple of years, sort of like wasn't offered anything at Enfield. They were at the time they were a good non-league side, Ryman Prem under the old structure, so we were one off the conference, but nothing materialised. So I ended up going to Aveley. Got offered a contract down there. Little bit, if I'm honest, a little bit wet behind the ears. Didn't really know what was going on. I just wanted to play football like a typical. I was 18 at the time. And just wanted to play men's football, really. No real, whether I had the ambition or drive. Obviously, everyone wants to be a professional footballer and play as high as they can. But when you drop down to Ryman 3, which is probably equivalent to where I'm at now, maybe a league below. So it's quite a fairly low level. But they gave me an opportunity to play men's football, and yeah, for part of it, I enjoyed it really well.
Yeah, so like a lot of the footballers I've spoken to, and probably most footballers now, a lot of them come through like a Premier League team's youth academy or a football league. That wasn't the case for you. Did you ever feel like you wasn't going to make it as a pro?
I was at Tottenham for 3 years when I was 12. So I was there for a few years. If I'm really honest, it was probably I'm a big Tottenham fan. It was like the best thing what could have happened to me, but actually materialised. It was probably the hardest thing I've done. I was quite a shy kid. Probably lacked a little bit of self-belief, and didn't take the opportunity as I should have done. Obviously, the structure back then was totally different to how it is now. We were literally training once or twice a week, and games only in the holidays. So I just never really felt part of it, and felt a lot of pressure on me. And it was probably a big relief to actually get released at the time. And the way they released me wasn't great. It was literally just told me, Dad, I don't want you back. So it was a strange experience there, but probably mentally it taught me a lot about how to handle a few things, and probably looking back now on my little bit of inner drive to try and be as best I could. So I just dropped back into playing with my mates, moved to Enfield, had the opportunity to do a YT apprenticeship scheme, which it was the first one in non-league football at the time, I think, probably the last as well. It wasn't, I'd probably call it going in, be a cleaner, was a part-time cleaner part of it. So we used to train, there's only 9 of us signed to the programme, and that quickly become about 5 or 6. So we had a lot of chores to do, a lot of old school stuff. Non-league back then was full of characters, and I probably played under the one of the biggest characters ever in George Borg, the manager. So every day was exciting. It was a good laugh, good fun, but at the end of it, did it improve me as a footballer? Probably not.
Yeah. And then, so your first break in football was in non-league. Obviously, you played for Enfield again. You scored 15 league goals in 81 games. Quite a good return for a midfielder. Would you say that was a good, it helped you develop more?
Yeah, I think I left Aveley after I had a really good first year. The second year, whether I got stitched up or not, to me being a little bit naive, I signed a contract with an option. I didn't have a clue what an option meant. I thought that was if I wanted to play there another season. I had a really good season. A few clubs were looking at me at a higher level in up the pyramid, so I was quite keen to move because I lived quite far away from Aveley itself and wasn't picking up great money. So I got told I wasn't good enough. Like the meeting at the end of the season, I sort of got forced back. Actually, I didn't start. I went back there in October. They literally said to me, "If you don't come back to play, we're going to stop you playing football for the whole season." So it was a real tough time. So I just wanted to play. I weren't bothered about money. It was literally covering my expense anyway. So managed to sort of left there with that feeling of I'll prove you wrong. Yeah. Which I'll probably come on to more in terms of how I got to where I got to, really. So, we end up going back to Enfield literally on trial, if I'm honest with you. No real drive to think, what's going to be next. I knew I'd had a good couple of years, but I just sort of hit the ground running, if I'm honest with you. It was a big step up, but something that, I just sort of grabbed. Played for nothing for the first, I think, 4 or 5 months, and I think the gaffer used to go to his car boot and give me a £50 note every other couple of weeks. So that was nice at the time. So and it just sort of started kicking off there, really. Had a good season. I think Barnet come in for me with a good offer as well. I couldn't believe Enfield turned it down. So I met John Still, had a look round the ground, and I remember his words. It was like, "You're going to be a pro footballer. You're going to be a pro footballer." And I'm like, "Wow, is this happening?" Then he got down to the wages. I was like, "Is this what pro footballers earn?" It was like, I think it was about 120 quid. I think.
Cool.
I was like, "Really?" He goes, "Yeah, but you're going to be a pro footballer." I'll be honest with you, I would have took it. I was like so desperate to do it. But the deal fell through. Enfield wanted more money or something, and Barnet pulled out of it. So. So I moved on to Aldershot after that.
Yeah, and how old was you at the time?
I would have been 2 years. So I'd have been 20 then.
Yeah.
Moved to Aldershot 21, I think I did. 3 years there. That was probably the first stage of going, wow, this is a good opportunity. The Aldershot, a proper football club, 1,500 to 2,500 fans at home games every week. I loved it. Yeah. I probably, again, when I look back at things like the experiences, I really jumped into that move. I had agents after me that season at Enfield, and I'm like, we'll just stay clear of it. But looking back now, I probably wish I had a little bit more support. Yeah. So I jumped in because we played Aldershot last game of the season, and I signed for him literally straight after the game. And that was run by George Borg, my old manager. So there's a little bit, don't know what went on, but probably wasn't as straightforward as people think it was. But after that, Stevenage come in for me, literally phoned me in the summer, and I was like, Stevenage is 10 minutes down the road from me. They're in the conference. So I still met them, and But yeah, listen, I went to Aldershot. It's a great football club. Loved my time there. Had a trial at Crewe and Southampton. Like the levels there, I just think I'm nowhere near that kind. Certainly at Southampton, you're walking in and Matt Letizier's like sitting in the dressing room, you're like going, wow. So a little bit startled time. Crewe was disappointing. I'd done really well at Crewe. I remember it being really rainy, and the trial match I was supposed to play in got called off. So I had a really good week's training up there. They come and watch me, I think, the following week at Aldershot. I'd done really well in the game, and then just didn't hear anything. So like I say, you just don't know in non-league football what managers tell you. There's a little bit of a sort of stigma at that time as well. So just got my head down, just batted it off really, and tried to improve and do what I did best really.
Obviously, a big thing that we're like for our charities is obviously mental health. Last year we did it with Mind, and obviously that's what they sort of sponsor the Football League. Was it quite mentally hard to take not signing for Barnet? Obviously, because it's obviously a lot of players you see like Saivo Berahino when he didn't sign for Tottenham, his career changed basically. Did you sort of feel that at all, or was it just something you got on with?
I think I just got on with it. Yeah, I was a little bit disappointed at the time. Obviously, you get a little bit excited because you think you're going to make that professional contract. You think like 7 or 8 months ago, I was at Aveley getting told I wasn't good enough to play for Enfield, let alone going to the professional game. So I can't really think, to be fair. Looking back, I probably wasn't that. I was bothered, must have been bothered, but I actually, funny enough, I forgot. I actually went to Southend supposed to play in the trial game for Southend as well after the Barnet deal fell through. So I was sort of in the back of my mind, I probably thought something might have happened at the end of the season anyway. And I was probably earning more money working and picking up a little bit at Enfield anyway than what got offered at Barnet. So I obviously wanted to live, and you're looking to move out of the home and stuff. You're growing up quite quickly. So yeah, mentally, I probably wasn't affected by it, if I'm honest.
Yeah, so we're going to move forward a bit to Dagenham, the highest you played in your career up to that point in the conference. How big of a step up was it for you? Did you feel like you fitted in straight away?
Yeah, I really hit the ground running at Dagenham. I had a really good year at Gravesend and Northfleet, what it was back then. And I moved to Dagenham, and I thought Dagenham would be my pathway into professional football because they're a good side, good manager. And I thought, this will be my route. We'll win the league or get in the playoffs, and I'll go up that way. So really pleased to make that move. And again, just hit the ground running. I played. It was only my second year in the conference. I think I scored 7 goals in my first 20 games, I think. And again, a lot of interest was coming on. We played Leyton Orient in the LDV. I think it's one of the first years that they let conference sides into the LDV.
Yeah.
So I played in that game, and I had a call from Orient literally, I think, a couple of weeks later, and I'd literally was sorting out a deal to sign for them. But it was a pre-contract. Nothing was going to get done until the end of the season. I don't think they wanted to buy me. I was only on a year's contract. And it was then I had a little bit of a fallout with Dagenham because they were trying to get me to sign another deal. And I think he was signing me really that didn't know much about me. I think it wasn't until I was doing well that they always thought, they've got a bit of an asset on their hands now. And I had a little bit of a fallout. I got dropped over the sort of the last month for my time there, which was a little bit disappointing. And then the move materialised.
Yeah, so we moved to January 2004. You signed for Southend, making a jump again, this time to League Two. How big of a step up was that, and how did that move come about in the first place?
Obviously, all my thoughts at the time was obviously trying to get back into Dagenham, and I had the Orient thing sort of lined up, so I was quite calm. And then just out of the blue, really, Tilly phoned me. It was on my birthday, funny enough, about birthday. But it was phoned me on my birthday and asked me. I'd played against Tilly when he was at Canvey, so he knew quite a bit about me. And I think Brushy might have had something to do with Leyton Orient when the times I was playing against in the LDV. I think he might have. I know he obviously was a manager at the time, not at that time, but so I think he might have watched me a few times. And literally, I think I met him probably a few days later, and it was about a 5-minute conversation, and I was ready to go. So it was an easy decision for me. Looking at their league position, although I was going into the professional environment, mentally I thought, well, actually, they're only about 10 places above us in the league. So I was a little worried that because they're in a relegation scrap at the time, I thought, bloody, I don't want to be here for like half a season. I'm back in the conference, but it was just that title of being a pro footballer. These are like dreams are what I'm made of. So very easy conversation. Went down site. I think I had to play for Dagenham on the Tuesday night in the FA Trophy. Actually, I got absolute pelters by the Dagenham fans. We played Crawley in the trophy, and they obviously news had broke that I was leaving, and they were hammering me throughout the game. I ended up scoring the winner in the extra time, so I give them the old shush one. But afterwards, they were fine, and obviously they accepted. But going on to your question as well about how did I find the step up, and it was a real tough time to sign, because I remember my first day. I think Southend played Scarborough and lost in the FA Cup. I think it was Scarborough, and I think they'd have had Chelsea in the next round, if my memory serves me right. I might be wrong.
I remember, unfortunately.
Yeah, so
we drew 1-1 at home and they lost 1-0 away to them. And I think Chelsea back then, I think that's just when Abramovich had taken over. So they had Terry, Lampard, Good Johnson. We've had them at Roots Hill.
Yeah, so my first day was like total doom and gloom. Like all the players, it wasn't the most welcoming atmosphere, probably because of obviously what happened. There was a few meetings and trying to pick the boys up. I'm trying to make an impression, and like I was sort of banging my head against the wall, really. So it was a little bit of a tough start. And obviously, I'm someone coming from non-league football. Am I going to keep these boys up in, like, obviously they're fighting for their lives as well. And some players might have questioned the signing, whether signing non-league players is a way forward. So, but it was down to me to try and prove them wrong. Something I found really difficult, actually, initially. I didn't realise the fitness levels. I thought I was a fit lad going into it. I don't think not playing for Dagenham for like the last month before I signed for Southend helped. So I was lacking a little bit of fitness. My debut was horrendous. I'll never forget my debut. It was Doncaster at home. I think we were 2-0 down after 10 minutes. I was booked within that as well. Probably these ages, I probably would have got sent off for a 2-footed tackle. So it was a bit of a nightmare debut, and it took me quite a while to really settle in. I think I found myself quickly out of the team, and maybe a few people questioning what I was all about. So I had to really try and knuckle down. I think one of the games what I do remember is I think we played York City at home about a month or so after I'd signed, and I think my game might have been 0-0. We might have lost 1-0. I'm not too sure, but I remember walking towards the tunnel and someone fully kitted up with a Southend bobble hat, scarf, everything, absolutely hammered me. He's like, "You're useless, Bentley." And I was those sort of game. I actually thrive on things like that. I'm going, I've got to prove you wrong. Yeah. So I'll thank that guy. I don't know who he was. I know he sat by the dugout. But I had to get my head down, and it was probably not until I scored my first goal that maybe changed a few more opinions and got a little bit of a run in the side towards the end of the season. But I knew it's key to go away, just work ever so hard, and that's something I did until he said that's what he was good at. Told me what I could do to improve, and I worked really hard over off season, come back, and really in really good shape.
Did you ever feel like you made a mistake in moving to us?
No, never. No, I was so desperate at the time. I could probably look back and go, well, Leyton Orient were mid-table or pushing for playoffs at the time when I could have signed for them at the end of the season. But my time was done at Dagenham. So too many things had happened with the manager, I think. And it wasn't bad, but you try gaining trust and stuff like that. And I was just so desperate to do it. Certainly no regrets, obviously, what happened over the time I was there.
Yeah. Just quickly, how were Tilly and Brush? Obviously, you mentioned he helped you settle in, but what were they like as a duo and individually, both as managers and as people?
Yeah, both very approachable. I don't think Tilly liked the confrontation as much. There were times where if you're not in the squad, we'd be waiting outside the office, and Tilly would be the last one off the training pitch because he knew he had a queue of players waiting for him to ask him questions. So Brushy sort of maybe was that sort of person, like the bad cop possibly. But no, listen, he gave me my opportunity. I ain't got a bad word to say about Tilly, and I can't believe he's not involved in football at the moment for what he's done, and whether he had an opportunity to go to other clubs to leave Southend quicker. Maybe looking back, he probably regrets that. But yeah, coach-wise, they put on decent sessions. I'll be honest with you, the squad sort of managed itself a lot.
Yeah.
There wasn't loads of detail told to us. We were just a good bunch of lads. I think a lot of players have probably said this over the years.
Yeah.
How well we self-managed each other, and we just drove each other on, because when you're in a successful side, you want to be in the team, and to get in the team, you've got to work as hard as you can in training, and you've got to try and impress everyone. So the standards were really high.
So obviously, fast forward 7 months to August 2004, so start of a special time for Southend, of a special 2 years. Was there any expectations to sort of get into the playoffs, let alone sort of get promoted at the start of the season?
First and foremost, I think I got left out of the squad, so I was happy opening day of the season. We played Cheltenham, didn't we, opening day?
Right? Was it 2-0?
We lost 2-0. Yeah, I was actually buzzing because I was out of the squad, and I was thinking, well, I've got an opportunity to go and see the gaffer now and try and get myself back in. So tough start. Yeah, we didn't really talk about promotion sort of thing. We knew we'd got a good squad. We had a good pre-season. And obviously some new faces come into the team. Obviously there's expectation. I think everyone wants to go out. Any team wants to go out and go, right, let's go and finish. Can we push promotion? I think League Two is very much like that as well. Anyone can beat each other at any point. So like I say, there was no real plans, but yeah, just see how we got on really.
And obviously things changed a little bit when Freddie signed from Grays. Could you tell straight away that he would go and become a good player? So he played in the Championship, so a decent quality. Could you tell from his time?
Fred, obviously, I think he signed did he sign on the Thursday or Friday and literally debut? So we didn't know much about him, but thrown into it, scored after about 10 seconds. Was that against Swansea?
Swansea, yeah.
Yeah, I think I was injured that time, I think, and I was doing the radio for BBC Essex, and it looks like we've got a player on our hands here. But Fred just was believed in himself, real good lad. Was he the hardest working trainer? Definitely not. If you ask anyone, but when he sort of does what he could do on the pitch, he was frightening. He'd win games, and he did win games on his own. Really, I think when you're looking for leaders on the pitch, he was a leader in a way of you can get him in good areas, tight areas. He'd look after it, and he'd score out of nothing. And he did that a lot over certainly a couple of years I was with him.
Yeah. So obviously we went quietly about our business. We get to April where we play Wrexham at Millennium. The second time that obviously we got to Millennium in 2 years. What do you remember from that day?
I remember cramping up in areas I've never cramped up before. That was a hot day, extra time obviously. I was buzzing to be in the final. Experience was I missed out the year before. I was cup tied, so and I remember being with Laurie Dudfield the year before. We were just like, oh mate, I can't believe we've missed this opportunity, and we had to watch from the stand. So build up to the day was it was good. 2 or 3 weeks before the final, you're getting measured up for a suit, and we're staying in a nice hotel, doing things really properly. The day itself, I thought we controlled the game, if I remember right. We had a few chances. I remember thinking afterwards, I've got Ben Foster a movie. He saved one of my free kicks. I missed another couple of chances as well. He had an absolute worldie that day, and yeah, it just wasn't to be. Whether we let run out of steam a little bit. It was certainly a game we went into thinking we could win. It was a little bit disappointing. And to be fair, it hinders us as well, because I think we went on a bit of a nightmare run after that as well. So it was a bit of a distraction, but it was a good distraction.
I always remember from the game itself was the first time I'd ever even noticed it. That team like Wrexham did it, and they put 2 defenders on Freddie, and I think that, I don't know if that sort of, kept us away a bit more, but the first time I've really noticed that's when I, as a fan, that I sort of thought Freddie would become a really good player if they're playing against a team in the league above and they feel the need to put 2 defenders on him.
Yeah, I think even at any level, like probably Man United, probably when you guys beat them that year, they've probably had to make sure they do a job on him as well, because he's a clever player. I say, when you've got a lot of self-belief and stuff, and you've got to try and squash out the threats, and he certainly was a threat. And like I say, they do a double up and they leave space for dodos like me who can't finish like Freddie. So, but no, he special talent.
Yeah, so the next game I'm going to go to is, I don't know, it's a day that I'll always remember for the rest of my life. It was Grimsby away. That was quite a mental day. A lot of things happened. I think that was the first time I'd gone to an away game on the train. My dad always used to drive to them. And I remember being an early morning. The away end was packed with Southend fans, which was crazy to see that many Southend fans in Grimsby. And it was such a weird day because obviously they went 1-0 up, and then I think, was it Freddie who got a goal back, or Mark Gower? Can't remember.
Oh, I can't remember. I think it might have been Fred. Yeah.
But how did you feel being sort of, it was like almost like a sucker punch on the last game of the season? All we've got to do is match Swansea.
Yeah. That was a hard game. To be fair, it was a real end-to-end game. We missed a few chances early on, I think, if I remember rightly, and then obviously crowd reactions tell you everything. So we knew exactly when Swansea had scored. We knew what we needed to do, and obviously to go then behind. I think I hit the crossbar in that game, which was could have been obviously changed things. We get back in it, and then I remember the last, I think 5 or 6 minutes, our fans started singing. I'm pretty sure and we thought we'd done enough. And then we were getting screams from Tilly and Brushy, like, "No, we need a goal, And I was like, we got getting mixed messages from everywhere at the moment. Then you get all their fans on the pitch, like towards the end, because I don't know what they were celebrating for, but it was a real tough one, because they're on the pitch, they're jumping in your face and got quite aggressive. It's quite scary, quite intimidating, actually, if I'm honest with you.
I don't think they had anything to play for, to be honest. I think they were just doing it. I don't think they had anything to play for. I think they're doing it to try and wind Southend players up. And it was out of order what they'd done, actually. And I'm glad I'm quite a placid person, because like I say, I had the and they were real proper in your face and like pushing you about as well. So real out of order on their part. But listen, we sat in the dressing room afterwards. It was doom and gloom, and we thought our opportunity had gone a little bit. But then it's like that sink or swim time, isn't it? We drop into the playoffs, and it is what it is. It done me a favour, because I missed out on my stag do after that, so it was all right. And then obviously, drew 0-0 to Northampton, then took them back to Roots Hall. Freddie scored a penalty. I bet that was an amazing feeling, being able to get through to a playoff final.
Yeah, massive. Yeah, two real tight games. Like, one goal was always going to separate. I remember Flavs pulling off an unbelievable save in the last minute from Scotty McLeish, I think it was. Like the euphoria afterwards was like, we're back on it. Do you know what I mean? And we'll probably have to prove a few people wrong, because probably a lot of people would have written us off. But yeah, another trip to Cardiff for us.
Yeah, but so Lincoln, how special was that day?
Obviously, end of the result was unbelievable. The lead up to the day was different to the Wrexham game. I think Tilly played it really smart. He's like, where we were getting suited and booted, we stayed in the Celtic Manor hotel. Yeah. So he just drew everything back. Goes, right, we're staying in the Marriott's. We're going to travel in our tracksuits. We'll go to the ground in our tracksuits, and obviously we use that experience of being there already. We thought we could use that to our advantage. We knew what we were up against in terms of Lincoln. You got someone with a long throw. You got 3 or 4 6'5" players in there. So we knew we were going to be in for a battle. So it was just a real good experience. And obviously, what I felt for the Southend fans, actually, obviously, because the month before we played the LDV final, I think there was double amount of Southend fans there. We're a little bit taken aback by it, but obviously you can understand financial costs of getting there and stuff. And but obviously everyone who did come, they made such a noise, and it took us to extra time. It took that magic man Freddie, and obviously the lunatic Duncan Jupp at the end. That moment just I go back to that moment so many times. Juppy's someone who I speak to a lot still, and we relive that memory all the time. And his celebration afterwards, the soppy sod.
So then next season, your first season in League One, again, I'm going to say, was there an expectation within the club to achieve anything? So I think we were sort of relegation favourites. Was that sort of objective to stay up?
Looking back, probably. Yeah, can we survive? All the talk was obviously going up through the playoffs. We obviously didn't set League Two alight. But we knew what the squad was about. Till he kept all the squad, he added a couple of players. Obviously, Sean Goater come in. And some real good. Lee Bradbury towards the end was a good signing for us as well. So we knew we were there or thereabouts. You know what I mean? Opening day, I think we lost to Port Vale. Well, here we go again. It was expectation was we can do all right. We're better than obviously just staying out the relegation zone. So it was just another fantastic season where momentum. So you can carry momentum over from the season before, you've got every chance.
So when did you honestly realise that we could get promoted? Was there like a moment in the season where you thought, it could happen?
From about, I think, January, we used to come in every Monday morning. We'd just off another win. There'd be a little group of us. I think it would definitely within Gower, Kev Mayer, Juppy. We're all like looking at each other going, got a chance. We were trying, how many wins? Where are we? And it was funny. It was literally every Monday morning, we've got another win. We were trying to work it out. And I think the closer and closer you got, we're going, we could do this. We could do this. And still people were writing us off. We're going to blow up at some time. I think we might have had a couple of sticky patches and stuff. But, going that day at Swansea was unbelievable to actually finally get over the line. What a day.
Kind of had similar feeling to Grimsby away that day. The long train journey, obviously packed away, and which you would see in January if Southend played away to Swansea, you'd have probably 200 people there. And then obviously Bristol City the week after. That was a very special day. It's a day I'll never forget. But how did you feel like in the build up to that in that game? Did you feel as though it was almost like a dead rubber because we were pretty much up anyway? Did you feel like we need this title?
No, we definitely wanted the league title, and I think certainly Colchester were the only ones who were going to catch us, and that obviously local rivals. We wanted to get over the line and finish the job. It was a strange week for me, funny enough, because my sort of mind might have been elsewhere. So my son was born on the Thursday, so before the game. It was a proper, real special moment. I say, having my firstborn and my boy in that, so it just was the icing on the cake. So I come off the bench, got some good minutes at the game. So to be part of it, it was really special, and obviously the celebrations afterwards was fantastic.
Is it a rumour? I don't know if it's a rumour, but we wore our away kit because most of the players threw their shirt in the away end at Swansea the week before. Is that true, or is that?
It probably was. I think Ron, being Ron, probably wasn't prepared to buy. Let us have kits, even at the kit shop. So we definitely. We definitely would have thrown our shirts into the crowd, I think. So, I'm surprised Ron didn't go and jump in and get them back again. So, I thought we played in white, actually. Yeah, that would have been the reason.
Yeah, what was Ron Martin actually like?
Didn't really have much to do with him, if I'm honest with you. I remember a couple of times it disappointed us that we were overachieving. Do you know what I mean? Certainly in League One. I think it was the League One year. If I remember rightly, I think we might have been drawing against Bradford or something, and he comes steaming into the dressing room at half time, and we were like second or third in the league, and he's started coming for us, and I'm like, what are you doing? And do you know what? Fair play to Tilly. He's literally just like, in no uncertain times, bugger off, get out of my dressing room. And I think Tilly earned a lot of respect from that day, because obviously Tilly's quite a placid person as well. He's not very confrontational, and that was the first time I'd really see him react like that. And fair play to him. Maybe another couple of times he's pulled us in for meetings, but he was fine. Never really had much to do with him. So I think obviously the late payment stuff that happened in my time there as well. But he always paid it in the end and sorted us out a little bit for to make up for it. So, but no, I'm not going to sit here and have a bad word with him. I think his best interest is certainly the club. I think he would have gone a long time ago. He's had a lot of stick in the past, but no, fair play. He's done some good things for that club.
Yeah, definitely. So now we're going to go back to your career personally. You'd been with Southend. We'd got promoted not once but twice. We were playing for the Championship now. We offer you a contract, but you turned it down and decided to move to Gillingham. What was your personal reasons behind that?
I've just praised Ron up here, and I now can go and batter him again. I'll be honest. I was always about I want to play. I've worked so hard to get to where I got to. Did I believe I was good enough for the Championship? Did I think I'd probably reach my level? Possibly. Do I regret the decision? Yeah. I'll look back. Don't get it wrong. I had great times at Gills, but I do look back now and I think, I turned down the Championship. I didn't think I was going to play, if I'm honest with you. I was in and out the side towards the end. And it's not until you've gone, you're probably a better player when you've left. Do you know what I mean? So I remember speaking to Tilly and Brush, and they're like, "Oh, you would have been playing," and stuff like that, which hurt me a little bit. The offer I received, if I'm honest with you, wasn't great. I'd come from obviously non-league. I would have signed for probably less than what I got offered anyway. But then you think, well, I've had two and a half good years here now, and we've had double promotion, and the offer on the table wasn't any kind of increase. And I remember me being the first one in, actually, and the lads going, "Oh, what you got? What you got? What raise?" I went, "Mate, nothing." And the boys were like, "Joking." So, and I think that was a little bit of a theme as well. Just disappointed me a little bit, and maybe that's Ron just thinking, we can get better players, which is fine. Do you know what I mean? I spoke to Gillingham. They offered me a half decent deal and a little bit of security as well. And I looked at, I think if I was probably younger, I would have stayed. But the fact that I just had my first child, that was certainly come into it as well. And what I didn't want to do is sign for another year, not play, and then don't get anything else. I didn't get loads of offers that year. I think Northampton come in for me as well, and Jill. So there was only 2 offers on the table. So it's not as if I was putting up trees in that respect. So, it was a real tough decision. It's certainly one I didn't take lightly. But for my actual career and longevity, I did it.
Yeah. Did the offer make you feel like appreciated?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, because in my head I thought I was probably one of the lower paid players, if I'm honest with you. You sort of get of like what players are getting. I weren't far off, but I just thought even if it had been a little bit extra, just a token, I probably would have stayed, if I'm honest with you.
Yeah.
Communication over the summer wasn't particularly great. I didn't feel that wanted, if I'm honest with you. And when you've got a manager ringing you and selling the club, obviously I go and look at the club, and like Ronnie Jepson, the manager at the time at Gills, was fantastic. He really sold it. And they're a club who were trying to get back to the Championship themselves. So I thought I was making the right decision for myself.
Yeah. How different was Gillingham to Southend, in terms of the squad, the facilities, the atmosphere amongst the players?
Facility-wise, I thought were better. It's good. Got a nice little setup. Training grounds probably similar to Boots and Laces, but the ground-wise, they had because they'd come from the Championship quite recently. They had some real good quality facilities actually. Had, sauna and all that kind of stuff. I know we had our crappy little sauna outside the change rooms, but it was a bit of another level, if I'm honest with you. So we had a half-decent squad, some good boys with good experience for Championship, and really looking forward to it. And had a really good first year. I'll be honest with you, my first year there was one of the most enjoyable years. And we didn't win anything. We finished below mid-table. But in terms of enjoyment, loved every minute of it. And we had such a good group of players, probably the best I've been in. Just unfortunately, we weren't great on the pitch. But I had a manager who totally respected me. I respected him. He liked a little bit of I couldn't do no wrong, if I'm honest with you.
Yeah.
One of the wrongs I didn't turn up for a game once. I got stuck in traffic at Brentford. End up being on the train at 2:45, trying to get to the ground, absolutely shitting myself because Ronnie is quite old school as well, and I thought this is going to cost me a fortune. But we had a bit of he respected, like I say, I'd done well for him, and cost me a couple of expensive bottles of wine Monday morning, and quickly got swept under the carpet.
Yeah, so at Gillingham, not for you personally, but as a whole, it was quite a mixed time there. You had promotions and relegations. But one of the first things that happened to you was that you did get relegated. Gillingham finished 22nd. How tough was that to take for you, like relegation? How tough was it?
Yeah, it was hard. It'd been a horrible season. Ronnie got sacked quite early on in October. Mark Stimpson come in, brought in a lot of his own players. Stimmo's a really good football coach, but he wanted obviously to do his thing his way. Didn't like many of the players we had. We had quite an old sort of the group were aging, so he certainly wanted to make it younger. And he brought a lot of players in from non-league, which I certainly didn't have a problem with because I know how good non-league players can be.
Yeah.
So I brought in about 7 players at once, and then training was horrible. Like he wanted players out, so he made it quite clear, and he made it hard for them to train with a youth team. And if they were training with a group, it's like he sort of said to those new signings, just go and kick lumps out of them, try and get a reaction, try and get these lot to leave. And it was horrible. I was sort of stuck in the middle of it because Stimo knew me, my background, and he played in the same Canby team as Tilly, and got on quite well with him, if I'm to be honest. And we were always going to go down that year. It was really tough because half the players who did play, they didn't really want to be there, waiting for their payoffs by the chairman, which it was tough. And I remember the day myself. I'll be honest with you, I shouldn't really say this, but we played Leeds. We got relegated at Leeds, and stupidly, it's one of my best memories. Like Leeds, I think had to beat us to go in the playoffs. So they opened up the whole ground. I think they'd only been on half capacity all year, and they opened the whole ground up. So there's 38,000 there. I was singing along to their song, "Marching On Together," I think, as I was coming out. So it sort of took the sting out of it, if I'm honest with you. We knew we were going to get relegated, and probably done us a favour going down. So, I took that one on the chin. Yeah.
But talking about, obviously, mixed time at Gills, in 2009-10, you finished second in the Player of the Year awards. You got promoted at Wembley with a last-minute goal from Simeon Jackson. When I was talking to Josh Wright about it, obviously, he got the assist. He said it was one of the best days in his career. How was that for you personally, that day? And did your experience in the playoffs before help you?
One of my worst days of my career, if I'm honest. It's a game, I get relegated at Leeds, a happy day. I'm on the bench at Wembley and didn't get on. So real mixed emotions. Probably selfishly, from a selfish point of view, I hated it. I should have loved it. And just if I'd have gone for a minute, I'd have totally felt totally different about it. But it was hard. I think someone told me I played about 38 games that season, and I was playing midfield. Then I dropped back to centre half, and then I lost my place probably 2 league games before the end of the season, and didn't get back in, unfortunately. And obviously for a club-wise, buzzing. But just from a selfish point of view, it was a tough one. You try and enjoy it as best you can. Just glad I had the Millennium experience, but obviously the Wembley would have been the icing on the cake for me, really, just to get some minutes, but it wasn't to be. And I had to overcome that quite quickly. But listen, Jacko scored in the last. I think I probably would have got on in extra time, if I'm honest with you.
Yeah.
He didn't make it. I remember him. He's always prides himself because he didn't make any subs that day, Stimo. And one thing I hate about him. But no, he's a good guy. He's got his own reasons, and it just wasn't to be that day for me, unfortunately.
Yeah. Did that hinder your celebrations from a personal point of view?
Yeah, it did. I tried to tried my best to dance around the pitch, and obviously I remember my Millennium experience and how happy I was, and the elation was something I'll probably never feel again. And it was just the complete opposite. I smiled and tried to play along with it, but it was sort of, that's done. Sink myself into a couple of bottles of beer afterwards, and sulk a lot. And every time I go to Wembley now, my wife we make a joke of it. Oh, look, there's your seat over there, and it's like time to get over it and move on.
On a different note, do you ever think you'll be able to get there as a manager? Maybe FA Vase, FA Trophy?
Obviously, listen, I've got the same ambition as I did as a player. Do you know what I mean? I'm at a level now where I want to be better. It doesn't, like being a footballer, you've got to work as hard as you can, and you start learning now. You're only as good as your players, really, and it's important you recruit well. Something that's difficult. It is a difficult one as players who, I don't know, players have changed so much since my last, obviously, first time around in non-league. The characters aren't there like they used to be. Very money orientated. There's no real. I do say it a lot that I want to try and find those players like what I was. Play for, don't care about money, and just want to be better. I'm in it to try and push players on. Got some good lads down at Canvey who I want to coach. I'm desperate to get them back and look at them move on again. So, but yeah, it's difficult. Listen, I've got ambition. Yeah, I'd love to go back at Wembley and put things right, sort of thing, and enjoy that moment.
Yeah, definitely. So we're going to go back to Gillingham in League One. You didn't spend, well, it was one season. You got relegated alongside Southend, but you was relegated on goal difference. I imagine that was very hard to take.
Yeah, the most ridiculous season ever, I think. Firstly, we didn't win a league game away. So we were beating Leeds at home. I think we beat Forest at home. Charlton we drew with. So all these like massive teams. We were turning everyone over at home, and then just for some reason we went away and just didn't happen. Found ourselves in a position last day of the season. We had to go to Wickham. I'll never forget it. I think it was before go down in League One, don't they? So there was a bottom four. Then there was, I think, 3 teams or 2 teams below us still. So a lot had to happen that last day of the season. Yeah. So we were obviously quite confident. We beat Leeds the week before, and we beat Southampton the week before. I think we were in the playoffs, and we thought we'd done it. But I just think there was a real, because we hadn't won away from home, there was a real stigma of like, we've got to win this game. We can't go a whole season of like, I don't know, possibly looking back, we didn't approach it the right way, in my opinion. And we quickly found us, we was a terrible performance. We rightly got absolutely hammered by our own fans, and that wasn't the first time. But yeah, that was a real low point. To obviously the elation of beating Southampton and Leeds a couple of weeks before, and then you go to Wickham, who were down there as well, if I remember rightly, and we just didn't show up. Didn't show up. And after the game, we had our presentation evening that night as well. That was horrendous. You're going back, and you can just see fans are just like waiting to come for you. The manager got on the stage, got booed, and you think, I don't need this. But you got to fulfil your obviously responsibilities afterwards and try and put on a brave face. But yeah, it was a tough one.
Yeah, and obviously from a personal point of view, it wasn't too bad. You got voted second in the Player of the Year again, and you were offered a 1-year deal. Did you feel like staying at Gillingham, or was there like no other offers from other clubs?
Looking back, I should have left, if I'm honest. A new manager come in, Andy Heston-Tyler, who I thought would like really take to me, if I'm honest with you. We had the first conversation with him was, I'm releasing you. I was like, what?
Cool.
So I spoke to him about five minutes. I was going, you do realise I've just come second in the Player of the Year here. I'm like, I've been there 4 years at the time. Yeah, I've got more change. I don't know where to play you. So this sort of, looking towards the end of my professional career, certainly, because I was such a adaptable player, I could play sort of in most positions. And I was sort of 1 minute I was centre half, then I was centre mid, right midfield. Bloody hell, I even thought of I'll be a goalkeeper if needed. Do you know what I mean? So yeah. The conversation was sort of like, I don't know where your best position is, and I was like, yeah, Joe, whatever, I'll move on. literally 2 minutes later, he's phoned me back going, "I think I've made a mistake. Let me speak to the chairman. We'll see what we can do."
Wow.
And then a new offer come in. It was embarrassing, if I'm honest with you. I think it was less than half the money I was on, and I thought, "What am I doing?"
Yeah.
But I think I had a couple of offers in the conference. I'm still just desperate to play league. I want to be a professional footballer, so I renegotiated a really good chat with the chairman. I think he understood where I was coming from. So we sorted out another year. But yeah, I broke my foot that year, broke my rib as well, and I played through a broken rib, and I shouldn't have done. But I was so desperate to be in the team, and it killed me in the end, really, because my performances weren't great. We started off horrendously. I got injured. The team started. Well, I think they went on like a 20-match unbeaten run after that, and there was no comeback for me. I ended up going on loan to Cambridge at the end of the year, which I loved. Yeah, really good club. So I dropped back into the conference then for the final month, and did that as I thought the Gills time was over. I ended up going back and ended up playing the last few games, and we missed out on the playoffs. I think by a goal difference the last day of the season up at where was it? Chesterfield. So that was gutting, and I knew my time was up. Sort of went in the office on the Monday morning with a smile on my face, going, "Yeah, old man's up, I'm done."
Yeah.
So yeah, move on.
Yeah. When you moved to Cambridge, did you feel like you was playing for your professional career, or was you still hopeful that you would get a?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I went there to get fit. Obviously, dropping down. Loved my time. I had a really good month there, and we tried to. Cambridge missed the deadline to re-sign me to the rest of the season, which I definitely would have done. I didn't want to go back to Gillingham, if I'm honest with you. And sort of left there thinking this will be my sort of backup. I'm going to leave Gills, but the talks were, we'll sort you out in the summer. So I was quite calm. That's why I was quite happy leaving Gills, because I thought I had the backup of Cambridge, which I know. Obviously, you can never trust what obviously we've been told to you all the time.
Yeah. Were there any other professional teams in for you? Because obviously you joined Hayes and Yeading at the end of the season, but were there any other teams in for you?
No, there wasn't. No, so I'm that type of character. I don't go chasing. If people want me, I've never had to go and chase. If I'm honest with you, people always wanted to sign me. So you wait and wait. You think, "Oh, is the call going to come?" Well, certainly waiting for the Cambridge one. Looking back now, I should have phoned Cambridge straight away and gone, "Look, I want to sign for you. Can we sort something out?" But I didn't. I wanted them to come to me. And then you sort of get mid-June and the phone's still not ringing. So I started phoning around, phoned a few local sides, back the Barnets and Lutons and Dagenham and Redbridge again. And nothing. Not even a conversation with a couple of them, which I found quite disrespectful, to be fair. I wouldn't do that as a manager.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is what it is. And then I've sort of got my head round. I think it was like middle of July, still nothing sorted. And now I'm panicking because obviously I've got to feed my family and money's not going to come in after the end of July. So yeah, got a call from Hayes and Yeading, from a mate who who knew the assistant manager there. He phoned me. I went down there. It was hard because it's part-time. Something I'd done a lot, obviously, before I went pro. They had a half-built new ground. Area wasn't great. I sat in a car park and I sat there for about 10 minutes. I went, "I don't want this. I can't do it." And I literally drove off and I thought, "No, actually, I'm not disrespectful like this." I turned back again.
Yeah.
And then I trained real young squad. And I actually quite enjoyed it. It was in the conference. First time they'd been back in the conference for a while. Real tough season. But it was good. But it sort of gave me that sort of stepping stone to my next career. I was studying at the time as well. So I was preparing for the life after.
Yeah. Did you find that hard to take, though, that not many clubs were after you? Did you feel like you had more to give?
I thought, and I think I proved that I had more to give as well. I know I didn't go back into the full-time game, but I had 2 good years at Hayes and felt as fit as I'd ever thought. You get to that I think I was 33 when I left Gillingham, and straight away people were going, "Oh, your legs are gone," and that. I didn't agree with it because I was a fit lad, always have been, really, and I was disappointed because I didn't want the story to end. Do you know what I mean? So certainly on the playoffs again, I thought I could have certainly done a job, and in another League Two side, but it wasn't to be.
Yeah, we're going to skip forward now to Grays, where obviously you joined as a player, but you ended up becoming player manager. How did that come about, and what's that like? Obviously, being on the pitch, but also managing.
Yeah, different. I was done, if I'm honest with you. I played for Wilstone the year before we won the league. I didn't really play much, and then one of the lads, Glenn Little, used to play for Burnley. He went over to Grays to play. I was with him at Wilstone. He just asked me to come along. I didn't go there till I think mid-September. I hadn't done a pre-season anywhere. Didn't really want to play at Aveley again because Aveley at the old ground, it hadn't changed. It was so strange. I'd gone back. It's like a full circle really, playing at Millfield. It was a terrible pitch, and but I thought, I'll give it a go. I actually quite enjoyed it. I didn't have to train. I was coaching in the academies at Orient at the time. So just played on a Saturday. And then the manager done quite well, built a good squad. Jody Brown, he got an offer to go to Welling United, and I was obviously in and around the most experienced player there. The chairman just said, "Look, do you want to help me out?" And it's something I certainly since I went back into non-league football, it's something I thought about because you work with other managers and you sort of go, I could do this. I can do better than this. Do you know what I mean? And I started to get more of a voice as well. Certainly in the changing room as the experienced player. So it was something I wanted to do anyway. So I had that opportunity, and thankfully at the time it went really well. When I took over, we were struggling. We were, I think, like fourth from bottom in the Ryman Prem, and but I had a good squad, and just I'm real grateful to the boys because they really took to me as well and the way things were. And we ended up going on a really good run, and we missed out on the playoffs last day of the season. I think Met Police scored 2 in the last 5 minutes, and we missed out on the playoffs, which was disappointing. But we were never in the playoffs. We were just on that upward spiral and got to a cup final as well. Yeah, it was good. So I adapted quite well, still playing as well. But I sort of tried to bring myself away from the playing side of it. Maybe go on, if we were winning 1-0 or something, we had to hold out. I'd just drop myself on there. And just trying to manage it from inside the pitch.
Yeah, did you have your badges at the time?
I had my B licence. I was working towards my A licence, so I think I just enrolled on my A licence. Yeah, so I was obviously quite keen. I was working in the academies, trying to make that progression. Really, I wanted to stay in that professional environment. Orient was initially good, then just become an absolute shambles when the Italian owners took over. So. That when I left there, didn't think I was getting the opportunities I deserved. Seeing a lot younger coaches with a lot less experience that I could give jump ahead of me, which was really disappointing. So I thought, well, non-league route's not a bad route. I did it myself, and I love the competitiveness. That's one thing the academy football I didn't really enjoy. You could I coached an under 15 or under 16 side, and that didn't matter if you won or lost. You know what I mean, you could lose 5-0, and it's like don't worry, it's all about your development. And something maybe I'm a little bit old school, and I like to fight for 3 points on a Saturday.
Yeah, definitely. And I know there's one game in particular that Dan wants to talk about when he was at Grays.
Yeah, so I got a lot of media coverage. So you're 2-0 down to Hampton and Richmond. You sub yourself on, and you scored, and then the keeper got sent off. The keeper got sent off.
Yeah.
And you put yourself in goal and saved the penalty. How did that all come about? That must be quite a memorable game from your career.
Yeah, I'd like to think it doesn't say, I'm remembered for being a goalkeeper for a Ryman Prem side. So I think I'm a little bit more than that. But no, the day was mad. It was like we were playing Hampton and Richmond, and crappy. We were terrible first half, and I think probably the first time I'd actually let rip in the change room. Like I'm not into all that shouting and being aggressive towards players, and I think I might have said a few choice words and sort of said, "You've got 5 minutes, otherwise I'm coming on, and if I'm coming on, we've got issues." Sort of thing. Got to be better than me. So brought myself on quickly. We got one back, and then I scored. I think I scored the equaliser. And then goalkeeper come out of his box, got sent off, and then 5 minutes later after that, penalty. So looking at the video, it's the worst save ever. I literally run. I thought, right, whatever happens, I'm going to run towards that side, and hopefully it hits me. And it literally was that. So I'd love to say it wasn't filmed and I pulled off an absolute worldie, but it was a horrendous save. But no, it's funny. And at the time, there's a guy, Dave Anderson, worked for the BBC, and he'd done a lot for non-league football, and he caught wind of it and interviewed me. And off the back of that, it just went onto the BBC website, and it's like just went viral. I remember my Twitter feed just going. I don't do Twitter too much, but that day, blimey, the notifications would come through, and it was getting interviewed everywhere. I think it's onto half 500,000 YouTube hits now, I think. But yeah, that was good. It was good for the club actually, because it was good for advertising. Obviously, the club, and we just got to a cup final as well, and it was good for that, and they jumped all over that, which it was good.
Yeah, so we're going to move on to Canvey, where you are now. What's that like? Are you enjoying it?
Yeah, I'm really enjoying it. I left Grays and think I've done really well at Grays, and thought I had to resign really, because there was a few, like, chairman took all the money, and I had to the squad we'd built had to sort of like let go. But because I've done well, I thought I'd get another job quite quickly. But you do realise, certainly as a manager, that those opportunities don't come around very often. I had one interview which I think was a terrible interview on my half, so I can sort of see why I didn't get the job. But yeah, I'd actually sort of gone, I think I'm done now. Football's not for me, and just got the call out of the blue 18 months ago or so now it was, and from the chairman, just wanted to see if I wanted to have a chat and take over. The manager wanted to step aside. He'd become the director of football. Yeah, I've jumped to the opportunity. Canvey's, like, history-wise, it's a good football club. Unfortunately, gone through some bad times financially, and obviously the level they find themselves at now, we're trying to work hard to get us back up. It's really difficult, if I'm honest with you. It's a real tough league. There's clubs in that league who have got endless budgets. Madness. Some of the money what players are getting paid is like Romford, as you guys will probably be familiar with, the old Billericay owner. It's just mad, the money what's being spoken. We can't compete with that. We've got a set budget. I think people have this perception that we're Canvey Island, we're a big club at that level, we've got a massive budget, which it really isn't the case. And we've got a competitive budget, but not on the levels of certainly the Romfords and Coggleshaw Towns who are well invested. So I think out of that sort of section of the level, we're certainly in a tough league. And so it's about trying to, like I said earlier, about recruiting well, trying to get some real good, honest lads. And I think if you can get a good changing room, lads who want to be best they can be. Like we've got players at our level who are more interested in Sunday League football, which don't batter my eye. It's not what interests me at all. And if they want to do that, let them get on with it. Do you know what I mean? It's not the lads I want to work with. So we were trying to get the club back to where obviously certainly up one more level and try and kick on, but it's going to take a lot of hard work, and we're getting there. But like I say, I'm trying to build a reputation for myself as an honest manager and someone who's like ambitious myself.
Yeah. Do you think, not fully, but do you think money's starting to ruin football almost, where it's not about the team you're joining, it's more about who can offer you the most money?
Certainly, the level I'm at now, definitely, and the level above. It's just like I have conversations with players now, and the start-off point is ridiculous. Like I look back and listen. I know it's 20 odd years ago when I played football, but I was picking up 30 quid a week. Do you know what I mean? And at a higher level as well. And it just doesn't make sense to me. But they'd go and play Sunday League football for nothing, but then try and say, right, I'll warrant £250s, £300. You're just like, you're having a laugh at you. So and that. Yeah, it's just unfortunately, and they're the players you'll see jump around other clubs. Always get a club though. Do you know what I mean? So you got to try and I'm trying to find those little gems who want to just play football. I've got a lad. I will mention him because he's an old Southend player, Dan Humphreys, who was a scholar.
Right, yeah.
last year. He's a great kid, desperate to improve, and I've had a really good year with him. And they're the types of players I'd like to see just trying to get back up the level. You've dropped down, you've had a step back. I'll use my experiences with him to get that motivation to hopefully go back again.
Are you finding it hard to find players who genuinely just want to play football?
Yeah, it is hard because the level we're at, obviously I want to try and get the best players possible, but they want to be at the best clubs possible. So the best clubs possible for them could be a National South or a Ryman or Bostik Premier, what it is now. So we have to sort of wait for those players to go and have their trials. Unfortunately, make them miss out, and then they'll feed down to us. So it's a bit of a waiting game, if I'm honest with you. I know there's a lot of clubs in my league do business straight away, but I'm not really rushing and panicking because I know there's going to be a lot of players who will go on trials at these Conference South sides, and a lot of these Conference South sides just use them for minutes because you want bodies for pre-season, and you try and explain it to them. But but I might do well. Yeah, great. If you do well, sign. Fantastic. But a lot of the time they are getting used and quite quickly feed their way back down. So come back with their tails between their legs.
Yeah. How are you?
Sorry, mate. Go on.
No, go on.
Would you say that you have to sort of wait till September, October to wait for like a quality player to improve of available players? Would you say?
Yeah. I think I did my best business probably pre-season. I signed a couple of players early on off-season last year, and they didn't work out. The ones who come on trial, they're the ones who have got something to play for. Do you know what I mean? And not all of them. Some of them you have issues with and think they've made it and don't like the truth and honesty. But you get some good lads, and I sort of tell them you got to know your level first. You got to these a lot of lads will get released from professional clubs, and like Dan Humphries, for instance, he wants to play as high as he can. But what I did as a player, I went and got 100, 150 games at a low level. All of a sudden, you do well and you get recognised. And I think that's a message it's got to come out to the younger players that just because you've been in an academy doesn't mean like you. I've had a couple of lads on loan who've been nowhere near at times, like physically. But their belief is, I should be in Southend's first team or Gillingham's first team or Barnet's for whoever. Do you know what I mean? So it's a great environment to come and learn a trade and get some minutes under your belt, get kick lumps out of all around the pitch because obviously the players at this level aren't technically as good as possibly one of them. So it's difficult, but there's a good opportunity.
Yeah,
just got to find the right player. What
do you enjoy most about management?
I love the coaching side of it. I'm first and foremost a football coach. And that's what I tell people. Really, the players, ringing players, and the negotiation side of it, to be honest, it does my head in at times because you don't get an answer off people, and it's a chasing game. Certainly, other managers are better than that. And but yeah, the coaching side and seeing players develop and putting your team out on a Saturday and seeing what you did on the Tuesday and Thursday come through. That's what I love. But there's also the other reverse of that. When things don't happen, you're like, the game understanding, where players don't actually understand the game. That's the tough part. Yeah,
and I imagine the dugout's probably the loneliest place on earth when you're 1-0 down.
Yeah, it can be. Yeah, so you get some interesting characters as well on the sidelines, managers who are desperate, obviously, to beat you. For some reason, certainly in our league, because Canby are recognised as the big club, you do get a lot of managers who are desperate to beat us at times, and they certainly show it as well. And I lack a little bit of class at times, but I try and stay out of all that nonsense and get on my job. And listen, if we lose to the better side, no problem. I ain't got a problem with that. So yeah.
Yeah, I just want to get your opinion. Obviously, all football was stopped. Some's returning this week, particularly the professional game. What was your thoughts on non-league being voided? Because obviously at your level, there was no vote. Malden, I think, were 14 points clear at the top of the table. Obviously, that means no promotion, no relegation. For you personally, you were 10th, so it didn't really impact. But what was your thoughts on that?
First of all, I was gutted for Malden. Malden were they were a joke of a team. A lot of their players are from Colchester 23s or they have an opportunity to play for the 23. So physically, technically, everything about them was was unbelievable. They gave us a proper football lesson in, to be fair. And I'd like to have seen them gone up, because it means they go away. It's another less. It's more of an opportunity for us to get up another place. So that point of view, a little bit disappointed how quick it materialised. Really, it was literally 2 weeks into lockdown, right, with null and void. Again, like I said, because it didn't affect us really, I wasn't too bothered, because I knew this is going to be a long haul. I knew we were going to be nothing for like at least 12 weeks. And obviously, clubs at our level, we rely on our bar takings, our hiring in the hall, and even pitch hire as well. So, looking at it's probably the right decision, certainly to null and void it. Could they have said, let's just get Malden up, because they deserve it? It was tight in the playoffs. It could have been anyone. So, for our level, it probably was the right decision. It's not going to please everyone. The teams at the bottom, they're going to be buzzing. I think Basildon finished bottom of our league, but they fell into the bottom on the last game we played. So, so you got to feel for that. If they'd have got relegated, you'd have probably felt for them as well.
Yeah.
So they're probably delighted it was null and void. So, but higher up the pyramid, I see this week National South they're now going to get their playoff opportunity, which is good, because the government said they weren't elite athletes, but some of those sides, I'm sure some of them are full-time footballers now.
Yeah.
So it's the standard. What's that?
Like Dartford, I think teams like that.
Yeah. And like for full-time sides at that level, it's a real good standard now. Like going at even the conference now, I don't know why they just don't make it like a League 3 or. I know there's talk of splitting the leagues now, so North and South, League 2. I think that's a great idea. I certainly wouldn't say no when you're travelling up to Carlisle on a Tuesday night, or we travelled to Hartlepool. I remember for our promotion year on a Tuesday through the snow, and about 7 hours. You're like, really? So certainly for you fans who had to make that journey, total respect. Do you know what I mean? So I think that's a great idea, trying to split the two leagues. And the Premier League, to go back, I watched it last night. I was bored to tears after about 5 minutes. And it's just not football. You need the fans. Do you know what I mean? And obviously Sky, I had to turn the fan thing off, what Sky pumped through. And then you've got your silence, and I'm thinking, I thought it'd be a nice learning tool, actually, to listen to the players on the pitch, and might be able to hear Pep and Arteta speak, and obviously use it as a learning tool, but didn't really hear much, to be fair. Yeah. Arsenal, luckily. got another lesson. Man City were decent, but I don't know how much I'm going to be watching. I'll watch the Tottenham games, I think, and other than that.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? Before we came on, I was watching the Colchester-Exeter game, hoping Exeter would win. Obviously, Colchester just done them 1-0. Yeah, but it's like a training match. It's not the playoffs. The playoffs are meant to be end-to-end.
Yeah. I don't know how much training those League 2 players would have done.
Yeah, I think they had like a week, 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's just like ridiculous. Like you've sat on your backside for 2 or 3. I know. Listen, we players, we keep fit, but the 5K thing's a massive thing at the moment. But anyone can go and plod a 5K. It's not real football. You ain't going to get football fit that way. So, it's strange. So it's going to pick up a few, I'd imagine. And even as a player, I don't know how to feel with that as a player, because obviously you get to the playoff final and you're going to play at Wembley, but I think they just sting out of it not having the fans there, because that makes the day. Yeah, makes the atmosphere.
It all feels very rushed, doesn't it?
Yeah. It's just like that desperation, because obviously the teams at the top would have kicked up a fuss, because they've probably invested a hell of a lot of money to get promoted, which I totally understand. Like Barrow in the conference, I know, ridiculous budget, I believe, and obviously there'll be some League 2 and certainly League 1 sides have certainly got the money. And the Prem, how do you work that out? Give Liverpool the league, in my opinion, null and void the rest of it. So, but it's what it is.
Yeah, that's obviously Peterborough's owner. I don't know how much you've seen on Twitter, but obviously he's been very vocal about wanting to actually play on, just because they would turn like 10, 15 million pound bids down for Ivan Toney, like 15 million pound in League 1. It's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, wow.
Yeah. So where do you see your managerial career going? Do you think you can make it into the professional game?
I don't know. Probably not as if. Obviously, talk about self-belief and stuff like that. I'd love to think I could make a step up, but at the moment, I'm early stages. It's hard. I'll be honest with you, it's hard. I'm enjoying it. I think the longer I'm at the level I'm at, I'll probably get tagged with that level. So I've got to think about that probably in the future. Certainly got no thinking of certainly walking away from anything at the moment. But I want to work with good players, and that's like a real key thing for me. So I'll see how it goes. Listen, I'd love it for me to go. I want to be that one to bring Canby back to the Ryman Prem, and kick forwards. And if I get an opportunity to go elsewhere, obviously that certainly be a conversation I'd like to have. But as I learned from my Grays days, you can have a couple of good seasons, and those opportunities don't come very often. And certainly non-league football is very much who you know, who you network with, and
could you ever see yourself at Rootsall?
I'd love to. Would love the opportunity. Obviously, be great to go back. What's that?
There might be a vacancy after the summer, depending what happens with Sol Campbell.
Yeah, that's a tough one, isn't it? I feel for Sol. I don't know the guy. I do feel for him a bit because he's come into obviously a struggling squad. Not just this year, but last year as well. He probably wants to implement a lot. He probably sees some poor players on ridiculous money, like the money I'm hearing. What players are on makes me want to cry because I was probably nowhere near that. We were quite successful, but listen. Any opportunity, I look at someone like Kevin Mayer, who was there with the 23s, and you'd have had Kev spot on for that job, and Adam Barrett as well. I thought was going to get the job before Sol, but never materialised. So might have something against the old boys, but we'll see how it goes. See how we go.
It's been great listening to your stories about your career, and obviously wish you the best of luck as manager, and hope things turn out well for you.
Thanks a lot. Yeah, really good to speak to you guys. Hope it all goes well. Hopefully the Shrimpers can get back on track and get promoted again next year. And good luck with your charity as well. So it's great cause. Just Edinburgh thing was devastating to hear. Like, I didn't know the guy really. I just played against his side at the time. He was always seemed a real decent guy, and I know people who worked under him. So yeah, hopefully it goes well.
Yeah, thank you for that. So this brings an end to episode 7 of the Charity Cup Chats with Mark Bentley. Next time we'll be joined by Mr. Southend, John White. So cheers, everyone.